The information on this show has been provided by DETV, an independent company not affiliated with Barclays or any of Barclays' affiliates. Barclays makes no claims to the accuracy of the content, nor does it recommend or endorse any products or services that have been mentioned in the program. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or the positions of Barclays. Hi, I'm Danae Wolf. I went from being broke and getting evicted in my 20s to becoming a millionaire in my 30s. And here's the best part. It didn't happen because I got some windfall of cash. It didn't happen because I got a fancy new job. It happened because I started controlling my money and stopped letting it control me. I cracked the code on personal finance, and I'm on a mission to help as many people as possible have the same transformation. The truth is, it's not a lack of money that's keeping you broke, it's a lack of financial education. And that's why I'm doing this show, because I believe financial literacy is a right, not a privilege. So join me to learn how to increase your financial IQ so you can make and keep more money. Welcome to Money Matters. Hello and welcome to episode 6 of Money Matters, where we dive into financial education, empowerment, and freedom. I'm your host and financial empowerment coach, Danae Wolf. In each episode of Money Matters, you're going to learn practical and tactical lessons that will show you exactly how to gain financial clarity and confidence so that you can increase your bank balance and decrease your stress. Now, today we're diving deep into something both powerful and personal. We're going to be designing a financial plan that's tailored to your dream life. We all have a vision, right? We all have this idea of what the next level means to us. Moving to a bigger home, driving a better car, maybe taking some of our dream vacation to some of our bucket list tropical paradise locations. But here's the question. When you think about all of these bucket list items, when you think about what leveling up means to you, when you envision your dream life, do you know exactly what it costs? Not just in vague terms, okay, but down to the penny. Because if we don't know our destination and the roadmap to get there, we're never going to reach it. So many of us have huge dreams, but we're not going to be able to achieve them if we don't even know what it takes to get there. This episode is about taking those dreams, putting a price tag on them, and then building a customized financial plan around that vision. Because when you know exactly what you're working toward, your finances become more than just numbers. They become the gateway to your dream life. So I want you to grab a notebook or open a spreadsheet or fire up your favorite budgeting app and let's get started. Because today I'm going to help you figure out exactly how much your dream life costs. So the first thing that I want you to do is start with a vision exercise. So in this exercise, we are going to be picturing our dream life. Now, you can close your eyes if you want to, but we are going to be diving into the very specific details. So think about the life you are working toward. Are you living in a spacious home? Don't just stop there. I want you to actually think through exactly what this home looks like. I want you to think about the paint colors on the wall. I want you to think about the kind of furniture. I want you to think about how comfortable the couch is. Then I want you to determine the location, okay? The key to achieving our goals is to be super specific with them. It's not enough to just say, I want to live in a big house, What does a big house mean to you? A big house to me might be different than a big house to you. So we want to get very, very specific with it. And then you want to say exactly where you want it to be located. Maybe a part of your vision is a specific type of car. Let's get detailed here, okay? What brand, what model, what year, what color? Design the interior, okay? I want you to, again, be very specific. If one of your dream life activities is travel, don't just think, oh, I want to be laying on an island. What island do you want to be laying on? They're all so different. They're all so unique. They all have different cultures for you to embrace. Determine the ones you want to visit to. Again, this is the idea of having that big, high level, big picture of your dream life and narrowing it down and getting super focused. Okay, those of you who have children, you probably started with a bunch of names that you really liked, right? But eventually you narrowed it down. So in this process, in this vision casting, we are getting very specific about the life that we want to live. Now I want you to grab your notebook and I want you to start writing things down, okay? You're going to think about each of these aspects of your dream life, okay? The house, the car, the lifestyle, okay? And lifestyle is really important because you might see yourself as someone who's working a regular 9-to-5, or you might see yourself as someone who's more entrepreneurial, or someone who maybe works 10 hours a day, right? We all have different visions for the type of lifestyle we want to have. So I want you to think about all of this and then put pen to paper. This is your dream life. Get specific. Pretend that there was a fairy godmother out there that was going to give you the exact life of your dreams. You don't want her to be left to her own guesses, right? So the more specifics you can give her, the better guarantee you have of getting exactly what you want. So go ahead and write everything down right now. Next, we're going to break down step by step everything that you need to do to determine exactly how much money all of this is going to cost. This is all about giving yourself permission to imagine, because that's the first step in setting powerful goals. So now that you have completely mapped out your dream life very specifically, you are ready to move on to step 2, which is putting a price tag on your dream life. We're going to put a price on each of these elements of your dream life so that you can tally up exactly what it will cost you to achieve it. Because vague goals such as I want a bigger house or I want a better car, they're not going to get you to where you want to be. You have to know the cost all the way down to the penny. So let's start with a very common dream, a new home. Now, maybe you're dreaming of moving to a particular neighborhood, or maybe you're dreaming of a specific style of home, but whatever it is, whatever you have detailed in step 1, I now want you to go through the process of checking listings in the area where you want to live and finding houses that mirror exactly what you mapped out in your vision, okay? So you're going to review what you said was your dream home, get online and do the research, okay? It's a funny thing, Google. You can literally figure anything out. Get on there, look in the area that you want to live, and find a house that is your dream home. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to use a mortgage calculator so that you can determine what your approximate monthly payment would be. Now, you want to make sure that you're not just looking at the mortgage, but you're also including the property taxes and the insurance. And on these online mortgage calculator, guys, you will be able to find that information. You just have to type in zip codes and you will be able to get that data. So as an example, let's say that you find that your dream home costs $500,000. Using a mortgage calculator at a 5% interest, your monthly payment might come in around $2,500. I want you to write that down under your dream house cost. And for your dream car, go ahead and search online to see what the monthly payment for that would be. There are car calculators that can give you an estimate based on your down payment, your loan term, interest rate, and so on. So let's say it's $500 a month for that dream car you've always wanted. You're gonna go ahead and write that down, okay? This is that process of taking something from a big idea to a very specific idea, okay? It's these real numbers that make your dreams tangible. And if you need more time to research, don't worry about this. You can go ahead and pause this and do your research and come back to it. But the point is for you to take these big goals and make them specific. I cannot tell you how many times I meet with someone who tells me that they know that their dream life is not attainable because it just would cost way too much money. And then I say, well, have you ever tried to add it all up? Have you ever actually ran the numbers? And they go, no, well, I just know. Or someone who tells me they really want to take this specific vacation, but they can't afford it. Oh, when was the last time you looked into the numbers? And the response I get is, I've never checked the numbers. I just know I can't afford it. We're setting ourselves up for failure without even trying. We are losing the game before the whistle even blows to start it. You have to be intentional about this. What you say matters. Your perspective becomes reality. So if you just say, I can't afford it, you're just going to believe that. You're going to lean into that and make it your truth. Instead, you need to take the time to actually research it, okay? Let's take that dream life and put the price to it. Now, the next thing I want you to do is we're going to take a look at our dream life and we're going to break down all of the expenses into very specific categories. So the first thing we're going to do is look at our fixed expenses. Now, these are costs that won't change from month to month. So these are those costs that are always the same, such as your mortgage or your rent or your car payment, right? Those are expenses that you can depend on to remain the same every single month. So based on the life of your dreams, I want you to calculate all of these. What is the price for all of your fixed expenses? Again, those are the expenses that don't change. Those are those reoccurring expenses. The costs typically are for essentials: housing, car payment, cell phone bill, stuff like that. Go ahead and write all of that down. And now you're going to have the total of what your fixed expenses are going to cost for your dream life. Now, for many of you, you might be in a situation where your dream life has you moving into a different type of home. That home might be larger. So you might struggle a little bit to determine what the utilities would be on a bigger home. Again, Google is your friend here. ChatGPT is your friend here. You can get pretty solid estimates in your research as to what it's going to cost to run utilities on a bigger home. So go through and get an itemized list of all of these fixed expenses. It should show items such as your home, your car, your insurance, your internet, all of those types of things. Now, if you're not sure, try looking up average costs in your area or using estimates based on your current expenses, just inflating them a bit to move up and level up to your dream lifestyle. This is your financial foundation, okay? These fixed expenses are really your essential expenses. So getting a realistic view of these is critical to mapping out what your dream life costs. Now, once you've determined the fixed expenses of your dream life, we're going to move on to our variable expenses. Now, our variable expenses are monthly costs that fluctuate, such as groceries, gas. These are things that you really want to think about what a dream life version looks like for you. So, as an example, your groceries, okay, if you think about your dream life, you might be buying higher quality groceries. It might be important to you that as your best version of yourself, living your best life, you're eating organic, right? That might be something that is important to you. I want you to account for that. So think about the things in the grocery store that you don't currently buy, but that you'd like to. And this one is very easy to research because you can just go into your grocery store app and price out organic versus not organic, or maybe you would like to eat steak more nights, whatever it is, right? And something else I should point out too, I do this a lot. I have clients run through this dream life scenario, and let me tell you something, no two people have the same dream life. We are all so different and unique. So everyone is going to have a very different vision. I think there is this misconception that we all want to be millionaires and we all want to live on an estate with like 20 acres. And that's just not the case. So this exercise is going to be extremely personal to you. So as you are going through and thinking through these variable expenses, I want you to look back over the past 3 to 6 months of your current variable expenses and see what the average is that you're spending and determine if you are happy with where you are with all of these or if you want to improve. Like, I'm using an example here of somebody who would like to move to organic. You might say, I don't want to change anything about my grocery bill. Great. So use the average of what you have right now for your variable expenses and put that in there. But if you're ready to even level up what you're spending in your variable, then I want you to account for that. If you want a comfortable lifestyle, I want you to estimate accordingly, okay? We want to create a financial plan that aligns with reality, not with wishful thinking, okay? This is where we transition from having arbitrary goals to having very laser focused goals, okay? Remember, the whole point of this exercise is to take your dream life and put a price tag on it. And I bet there are a lot of you watching this right now who are literally saying, I've never done that. It sounds so simple, right? But you've probably never done it. How many of you have a vacation that you are dying to take, but you just assumed you can't afford it? You have never actually sat down to say, here's the specifics of what it costs. I'm in the middle of planning a big trip right now. I had no idea what it was going to cost, and I pulled a number out of thin air, and I knew this didn't matter until I did the work. And over the last week, I've done the work. I've mapped it all out, and I was very wrong as to my estimates. So again, this is the process of actually putting a price tag to all of the things that we want in our life. So far, we have set the vision for our dream life. We've designed our dream life. We've determined what our fixed expenses would be in that dream life, right? These are the expenses that are recurring every month and stay the same, such as housing, cars, cell phones, insurance. And then we've also outlined our variable expenses. Those are the expenses that we have every month that sometimes change, such as the gas we put in our car or our grocery bill. So now we're ready to move on to the next part, which is the fun part, and that is discretionary spending, okay? This is all about the activities that bring you joy, all right? This is eating out, your hobbies, your fitness, your entertainment, your personal care, whatever makes life enjoyable to you. And remember what I said, no two people have the same vision for a dream life. So I really want you to get honest with yourself and ask yourself that question of, what do I enjoy? What brings me joy? What are there things that I would like to choose to spend my money on that I believe would enhance my life? Remember, our fixed expenses and variable expenses, those are coming from a place of necessity. Our discretionary spending, those are things we choose to spend money on. So let's get very specific here. Do you want to dine out once a week, or do you want to go out to dinner every single night? Are you going to concerts? Do you want to go to the spa? Do you want to be able to splurge on weekend getaways? Okay? Think about what you actually want. And then I want you to look up the costs of each of them and add it to your list. It's not enough to just say, hey, I'd really love to go to a concert a couple times a year. No, let's get very definitive here. What does a couple of times a year mean to you? Is that twice a year? Is it once a quarter? Figure that out. Then get on Ticketmaster and look at some of the people you'd like to see in concert and see what seats you'd like to purchase actually cost. Okay, knowing these costs is empowering because it means that you're choosing the life you want and you're planning for it accordingly. So now that we've mapped out those previous expenses, we're ready to think about annual expenses, okay? And these are tough because we tend to forget about them and then they sneak up on us, all right? So these are things such as your property taxes or insurance premiums or even your annual memberships, okay? These are those expenses that we usually get in email or in the mail and we're like, crap, right? We just completely forgot about them because it's not a bill that's coming every single month. It's coming once a year. So I want you to start being intentional about this. So if you are someone who is considering moving as part of your dream life, property taxes is going to be a huge piece of this, right? If you are someone who maybe has a certain membership to a specific club that you pay every year, maybe you want to upgrade that club. Think through all of the expenses associated with your dream life and consider which ones are annual. And then all you're going to do is divide it by 12. That's it, right? This is the idea of planning ahead to make sure that we have the money when the bill is due. Planning ahead for these type of expenses makes sure that nothing catches you off guard financially. Now that you've gone through that, I want you to start thinking about short-term goals, okay? These are items that you know in your dream life you want to intentionally set aside money for. So let's say in your dream life you are going on vacation twice a year. How much does that vacation cost? Figure it out and then divide it by 12 so that you know every single month this is what you need to save, okay? These short-term specific goals, I like to call them your focus funds. This is money that you are putting into a bank account for one specific goal. So it's not a general savings, right? It is a very specific savings account for one very specific thing. These focus funds are a huge component of designing your dream life. You might be a person who says, in my ideal scenario, I go on vacation twice a year. Great. We want to make sure you can do that. We want to help you be successful in achieving that goal. So I want you to do the work and determine what it costs, and then you're going to divide it by 12. And now you know each month what you need to put into this focus fund. Now, that is an example of vacation, but there can be other very specific things that you want to save for. Some people don't like to travel. Maybe you would like to buy a beach house, right? Everybody has their own vision of what the ideal life looks like for them. And these focus funds keep your dream life fun and exciting while keeping your financial stress at bay. And the final thing that I want you to think about when you are adding up all the things of your ideal life is I want you to think about your retirement. And I challenge you to think about retirement in a different lens, because there is a lot of generic advice out there that will tell you, like, take 10% of your income and save it for your retirement. So the idea behind that is that when you retire, you'll have the same lifestyle you have now. Well, what if you don't like the lifestyle you have now, right? You're going to get to retirement and you're not going to be happy. So I want you to think about not only what does your dream life look like today, but what does your dream life look like for tomorrow? And you're going to have to then work with a retirement calculator online to determine what you actually need to save each month so that you can ensure you are retiring in a way that feels good for you, in a way that feels authentic to the dream life that you desire. Now that you have a number for each of these categories, it's time to add everything up. What is the grand total? This is the monthly income that you need in order to live your dream life. Okay, all of these categories, your focus funds, your retirement, your discretionary spending, your variable, your fixed expenses, you're gonna add them all up. And the answer tells you exactly how much your dream life costs. Now, if it seems high, if it seems just so incredibly unattainable, don't worry, okay? That is your motivation to work toward this goal, okay? It should seem scary. In fact, I challenge you that if you add it all up and you're not scared, you need to go back and dream bigger, okay? What we focus on, we create more of. So if you are able to go from sitting and wishing and hoping that you had a better life to instead having a very specific goal of what you need to do in order to achieve that life, it's going to change everything for you. So I know that was a lot to unpack today. So what I'd like to do is address some of the common questions that I get when I do this dream life exercise with clients. So one of the biggest questions that I get is, what if my dream lifestyle feels way out of reach financially? And if you are one of those people, first of all, I want to congratulate you, because it means you're thinking big, okay? That's what you want to do. If you're going to dream, you might as well dream big, okay? And it is part of the human condition to always feel that we are working towards something. We have to always feel that we are evolving, that we are leveling up. It is proven to make us happier. The worst thing for a human is to feel stagnant. And this is all scientifically proven, okay? We are wired, biologically wired, to want to evolve. So if it seems scary, good. You did this exercise right. Now lean into it. You will be shocked what you can achieve when you have a very set plan. Okay, think about our GPS in our car. Before those, do you remember having to print the papers off MapQuest and you'd be like driving and looking at the paper? It was a huge, huge distraction. Now we've got a roadmap guiding us, right? It can even talk to us. It makes it so much easier to get to our destination when we have a guiding voice. Doing this exercise, having a specific goal, that serves as your guide. Lean into it and follow it. Now, another thing I'm asked a lot is, how do I prioritize if my budget doesn't allow for this? So this is always a good question, right? Because you might be in a situation where you're like, great, I'd love to put into a focus fund to go on that vacation, but there's no money left over for me to put any money into that account. So what I want you to do is start with your non-negotiables, which are your fixed expenses, okay? And then slowly add in other categories as your income grows, okay? Or as your budget allows. So we're not gonna dive into the more fun things. We're gonna start with the essentials. Let's start with getting you to a place where you are able to budget for where you want to live, where you're able to budget for the car you want, right? Let's start with those necessities. This is about progress, not perfection. You don't have to achieve all of this at once. In fact, you're not going to. I'm just going to be honest. You're not going to achieve all of it at once. But the point is to take it step by step. So I always suggest starting with those essentials. And something that I like to live my life by, and everybody has different mottos, right? So this might not feel authentic to you, but for me, a big thing I always say is, how is my average Tuesday? So any decision I make in life, I say, how will this impact my average Tuesday? Which basically means, how is it going to impact my average day? Because what I protect above all else is my average day, because to me, our entire life is made up of the days, right? How you spend your days is how you spend your life. So having an environment that you feel happy in, that you feel safe in, is going to be critical to your mental health and well-being. And I'd rather see you start there rather than being in a situation where you're miserable on a day-to-day basis, but you got to go on one vacation a year. I want to make sure my average day is what I want it to be. Now, that might not work for you. You might be someone who's like, if I can go on vacation twice a year, I don't care if I'm miserable 40 hours a week at my job. But I would encourage you to really take to heart that how you live your days is how you live your life, and start with making the improvements there. What can you do to improve your average day? Start with that. And then the final question that I get is, how often should I revisit and update my dream life plan? And honestly, the truth is, this really depends on you and your circumstances, because we all go through transitional phases in life. What I thought my dream life was 10 years ago is not what it is today. I'm a mom now. I have a very different set of goals and dreams. So I would say checking in on these every 3 to 6 months, because we do change, right? It's the human condition. We're constantly changing. We're constantly evolving. So making sure that you are checking in with your goals and saying, I'm headed on this path. Is it still where I want to be going? Does this still feel authentic to who I am? So I would say every 3 to 6 months, check back in on your goals and make sure you're still happy with them. So that concludes today. Thank you so much for joining me on Money Matters. Now that you know what your dream life costs, you're closer than ever to making it real. Remember, this is a roadmap to your ideal future, not just numbers on a page. It really is a map. Remember, financial clarity brings financial freedom. I'm Danae Wolf, and this is Money Matters. I'll see you next time.